Would do. When I was a kid, man, I love that song. Well, I think now that maybe God closed Hollywood for a reason. Because you see, when this whole thing started with all this plague and everything, I thought to myself, if I was God, and these pastors are as fake as I had a inkling they might be part. I didn't know how half bad it was, but I thought to myself, if I was God, I would test all of these pastors to see what they did with my sheep. And if they start, well, making them go into pyramids to be buried, well, then I can see how dark really is. And since Hollywood is closed, well, the magnifying glass is kind of on these pastors, like that pressing of the wheat to take out the chaff, you see? And well, they're getting pressed all right, and well, it's not going so smoothly. And of course, they're gaslighting the Antichrist being a person. But if the Antichrist is Lucifer, that angel of light, like that queen of hell, white that the SDAs worship so well, I don't think she's only over there. As that Walter Vase says, don't eat pepper. Look at that Queen of Mary over there. And then, of course, John MacArthur says those Jews just didn't quite understand, what's this Jesus really was. So they're going to be the ones told, depart, I don't know you who work iniquity, because they tried to work. But didn't Jesus say, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom, not blessed are the rich in their doctrinal spirit? Seems like it was more like, cursed are the rich in doctrinal spirit to me. And then he says that those are the ones that'll be told, depart, I don't know you, and suffer for their iniquity and burn in hell forever. But wow, that sounds kind of weird when you put it up against that. Why are we dividing? Apollos goes to that church and I go to this church. Why are we dividing if we're all on the same page with the same Christ? In 1 Corinthians 2 there, to John MacArthur, did you read that part? Or how blasphemy has no forgiveness in this life or the next, and you can only commit it if you know God first, which all Jews that you're gaslighting learn by the age of 13. And once you know God and blaspheme, well, you're just praying to the witch of Endor now, so you can gaslight all day and act and be a Pharisee modernly. That doesn't mean you're not praying to the same demons they were and King Saul did, because those demons are still around and they're real good at playing church. You see, they might have invented it, as the Pharisees were the first Protestants protesting Jesus. You see, Mr. MacArthur, your fine grace to you doctrines that you created at Master's Seminary, because you know so much about doctrines of men that you made sons of hell. Those are your doctrines that you made, right, Mr. MacArthur? You could have your own Hollywood, or maybe you do. We just don't know where it is. It's just all blended in. Like that Tri-City Bible Church you sent out there. John Rourke, what a guy. Wow, yeah, I don't know if he's still pulling them in with all your ads on the radio. Yep. my former assistant, he's really good. You got to check him out over in Bristol. He used to preach with me. Grace to you. He knows all my doctrines and is well indoctrinated. The age of accountability. What if it was the age of indoctrinability, so we could all get into cobwebs in our head and forget about Santa Claus being true with a naughty list and actually keeping track of who's getting gold and what? Who just thought they would get what? I'm not on the gold list, but I'm not on the naughty list. I'm just saved by grace, see? But I'm sure because I'm trusting grace alone that I'm sure I'll get some, I don't have any works to faith without works is dead, but my works are more it's Christ's works in me. So is that a Jesus I never knew? Could that be an anti-Christ movement where you just think that by grace you're saved and you don't have to do anything, so you're just a modern Pharisee. And you just look at everybody else and go, well, burn them up, Lord, whenever you're ready. Just like that Jonah after he got out of the fish. And it was like, hey, you guys better wake up, God's gonna burn you up. And he went up on the hill and said, okay, God, let's do it. Where's the fireworks? And God said, I like mercy better than sacrifice. And he was like, what, you mean I don't get to watch the show? You mean you actually love these people? Oh, man, I like watching some blood and fire. Come on, let's see it. So, dear, let's see, where were we now? We're on the Hollywood, yeah. So we're down to John MacArthur. I can't keep going on for him. I go on for an hour. Because, his doctrines, they're deep. And I tell you, I was lost in those for years. I read a few of his books and was like, wow, this is like a rat in a maze. You're like, where is the truth? I think it's here somewhere. So let's see, where are we now? We got, and then I haven't heard, I think that David Jeremiah, he's got an act too, boy. He's part of that baby boomer crowd. I was into the last of them, but he was farther up on that age ladder, and he's just, trying to take them all in the pyramids with him because, he's got quite a show going on, what is it down there? I think they got one of those inner circle clubs. It's really nice. And so, yeah, then you got T.D. Jakes. Oh, yep, he's dropping the mic. Oh, you got to pass on the mic. And, he learned how to entertain from Richard Pryor. And not only that, but when he first learned he was going to preach was when he saw Martin Luther King Jr. on TV, and his dad's eye had a sparkle in it, and he said, I gotta do that. If he can do that to my dad, wow, now that's my calling right there. And so that's when T.D. Jakes decided he needed to preach. And so he started, studying entertainment and about how to reach the blacks. The blacks. I thought we were all on the same page. Is this like your own Apollos church doing just like 1 Corinthians 2 where you're trying to divide us and make us into the dividers and chiefs? Which is what's so funny about all these churches is they mainly want to divide. They don't like to come us together. No. Why don't we all come together and get ready for the king to come? Like Philippians 2 says, all will do, all will bow. It's almost like they don't want to be part of that. No, we're not. We're going to heaven. We're going away. Well, I don't know all the Mormon doctrines, but I'm quite sure Romney has one of those that he's supposed to rule a planet because he's been so righteous. Kind of like that John MacArthur theme. We're so good, not like those Jews who think they were the ones that were chosen, but it's not them, it's we. Oh, the gaslight shows. I just can't keep up with them, but I guess that does go with Hollywood Part 2, because gaslighting was always a big deal in Hollywood. It took me a long time to figure it out. In fact, the movie came out in 1950. I never even saw it till like 10 years ago. So I'm not real quick on some of these things, but wow. We have movies right now. There's no need to watch TV. It's all live. You see, it's just amazing. I mean, the shows, because see, all the world's a stage, but well, the curtain's lifting quickly, and well, these actors are quite naked because you see, that witch of Endor, she doesn't look so good when she can't move mountains. She's just been moving hills, just like those prophets in Elijah day when he said, hey, let's go down the river and pray. And they were like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then, well, they didn't pray so well. And well, things got a little ugly down there. But they did go swimming. They just didn't breathe too well at that swim. But anyway, we don't have enough rivers for that now. But I think Jesus has a plan. He's that real Jesus, you know, the one he's got wrath coming in Revelation 1 and 2. And that's what's so funny to me is in Hollywood too. All of these pastors, and I haven't seen one yet in the last, I think, year that will preach on Revelation 1 and 2. It's almost like a cancer. It's like, oh, no. If I preach that, I'm going to get a plague and I'll be overcome tonight and die. It's like, I can't preach on that. That's because that's the chapters that says that when he does come in as king and judge in 1 Corinthians 3, that guy, same one that we all bow to, everyone on earth. Yep, that's the one. Well, when he comes, he's going to de-chaff the fakers. And well, the church, in those 2 chapters, he hates most of them. And it's really hard to figure out which ones he likes, because if you do, you got to filter out all the bad stuff that he hates. So, it's kind of like, hey, like that one, I think it's Laodicea. Of course, there are a lot of people who are, gaslighting. Oh, that's over there in Arabia somewhere. That's nothing to do with us. Laodicea were lukewarm. They were like, oh yeah, we love you, Lord. But in their heart, there was no love. It's like, what can I fool around with today? Who can I fool around with? He's gone. The cat's away. Let me play. And like that kind of love, So, that's the thing. You just have to remember. If you'd like to watch the act, you can learn a lot as long as you read the word and you know the truth. And that will help you understand truth better as you see the lies and understand them. But beware, believing any pastor now, because most are going into a ditch. And the reason Jesus said that is because that bear fruit worthy of repentance, well, these pastors haven't done it for years, and there's no repentance in them. They're just headed out to sea, and just like Noah, you see, there was probably preachers in Noah's day, but they were probably more like that, MacArthur tribe that was like, everybody in the world's going to burn hell. And so God said, okay, you want everybody to burn hell? Well, then I'll burn you too. And then he threw them all in the sea, And so that's the thing, is that we've got that same thing now, but those people will probably be the first ones to go in those 7 Dead Seas, and it'll be the same way. It's just that the lovers will get to stick around because they weren't part of that Hollywood 2 crowd that were the actors and posers that were pastors, and then those who followed them that were also lovers of money and lovers of social clubs and all these beautiful things, but they didn't know God or do anything but serve their own iniquities, whatever that would be, whether it's self-righteousness and pride, which would be what the Pharisees fell into, Mr. John MacArthur. So just beware and have fun at the show, because there will be Star Trek and others coming true soon, I'm quite sure. It's good to be on the King's page now, so you can have true peace, like he said, not the faux peace you've been sold all these years by these used God salesmen you see.